Well, g'day everyone. Isolation 2.0. Stuck at home, can't go hunting. Being a hunter, one of the really important factors I love to do is to harvest the meat that I get with the venison and the goats and pigs and rabbits and stuff that I hunt. And because I can't do that, what I thought I'd show you what I do with the veggies and stuff at home is we make up some sauerkraut. I've got some really nice cabbages which I've harvested, just fresh out of the garden at home. Really easy to grow cabbages, but there's only so much you can do with them when they're ready to go. We're in the middle of winter, and how much cabbage you're going to eat all at once. So what we're going to do, we're going to make some sauerkraut. I'll show you how to do that. It's pretty simple. All we need is cabbage. We need some salt. Just regular sea salt, not the iodised stuff. The iodised stuff is no good for this. We want some to promote the bacteria that grows in the fermentation process to get that right. So just regular salt, and then a vessel of some sort. Now I've got this crock. It's a fermenting crock. Does quite a bit. No worries at all there. We're going to load that up. You can also use like a clip top jar. Important thing is that the process of the fermentation builds up a pressure inside the vessel. So something like this, every now and then, probably once a day over the fermentation process, which can be a couple of weeks to a month, you got to let the pressure out and then seal it up again. The beauty of the crock is that it has a seal around the top here. It's a water seal. It lets the pressure out of the lid, but won't let any of the bad stuff back in. That's all you need. We're going to run through it really quick. Pretty simple to do and straightforward, and the product is fantastic. I'm on my last jar of sauerkraut from last year's harvest. So I don't know if anyone's, as a kid you might have tried sauerkraut and thought you didn't like it, but it's probably out of a can or something like that. This stuff is fantastic, straight out of the jar. Beautiful crunchy stuff, that warmed up with mash on the side with some venison bangers. It's beautiful. So we'll go through this. We'll quickly run through the process. I'll try and cut it down so you're not here watching for ages. Let's get into it. All right. So obviously I've got a stack of cabbage here, and I've got the full crock. I'm going to load it right up and make a heap of this. But you can use a quarter of a cabbage, a little jar. Give it a crack, have a try. If you like it, then you can maybe invest in a crock or some better equipment to get it done. So the first thing we do is we've got to peel off some of the large sort of leathery type of leaves off the cabbage. We want to get down to the nice white crispy stuff. And we put these leaves aside because we're going to be using them later on. A bit like breaking down a deer, really, just getting to the important stuff. Then we start chopping up. So halve it. Try not to take the fingers off. There we go. And want to take that core out. That's no good for us. So get rid of that core. We just break it down into little bits that we can deal with. So here we go. Right, so the next step's to slice all your cabbage up into nice fine slices. So you can use a mandolin or V-slicer. I prefer just a cook's knife. About 5mm thick, I guess, slices you want. You just want to shred up your cabbage. Just get it, just like a coleslaw, really, as you would. You're making a coleslaw, and You know, a bit of variety in the thickness doesn't really matter. What you don't want is any really big fat chunks where possible. Might need to concentrate on the core a little, get it nice and thin. Just work your way through it. Right, so I've shredded up that cabbage. It's all looking pretty good. Just been through it. As you work through it, look for any large chunks and we can turf them out. So I've got 6 kilos of shredded cabbage here, and we work on about a tablespoon of salt per 1.5 kilos. So 4 tablespoons of salt, that's all that's required, not a whole heap, considering the volume that's in here. And so we'll add that. We just got to mix it through there now and start breaking it down. So essentially it's got to be kneaded and worked through the cabbage, and that will start to soften up, and we'll get some liquid starting to exude out of the cabbage that we got. Then we can start loading it up into the crock. So 4 tablespoons, we'll spread that through and start working it in and go from there. So. Twisting and turning, and kind of like kneading bread. So ingredients being just cabbage and salt, it's pretty straightforward. Some recipes, depending on the region it's come from out of Europe, might ask for caraway seeds and bay leaves and stuff like that. But for this recipe, I'll keep it fairly basic. It's a big chunk in that one, get rid of him. I can feel the moisture starting to come out of that cabbage now as I work on it and pound on it. It's the last of the tablespoons of salt. Just pays to spend a bit of time just stirring it in, but you can sort of see it's already packed down a lot from where it was before. So the other thing we can do is just do a bit of mashing. This helps get that moisture out of the cabbage and get the liquid starting to form. So just by using a potato masher, maybe a rolling pin or something like that, and bust it up a bit, bruise it. This gets things happening. Good workout. Alright, that's starting to look really good now. So give getting close to where we can start throwing it in the crock. Just again, just go through it. If there's any big lumpy bits there, just get rid of them. All right, so the next step is to fill this crock, or your vessel, whatever you're using, your jar or whatever, with the cabbage and salt. And you want to put that in and really pack it down. In there, punch it down. Okay, so that's our last of our cabbage. Got a full pot there. Just push that down a bit further. Let's work our way towards loading it up. There'll be a bit of liquid in the bottom here. That's what we want in there as well. It's all part of it. Now we want the liquid to come up above the level of cabbage in the crock. And if there's not enough there to do that, all we've got to do is add a bit of moisture. So all we need is the fluid to cover up this cabbage. So we'll add a bit of a brine solution. It's just a tablespoon of salt dissolved in a litre of water. Just keep adding that until, there we go. We're looking at that. We're almost there now. That's about where we want to be. So the next step, those cabbage leaves that we kept earlier on, make a bit of a cap in here over this, over the sauerkraut. Helps keep the actual sauerkraut down. Anything that pops up later on, we're going to have to separate. It's got to stay below the water. So these cabbage leaves make a really good seal, just to keep everything down. That's beautiful, looking like that in there. Tuck it all in, try and prevent as much as you can. And these little blocks, these weights, they might be glass or ceramic weights that come with the crock, then go in and help keep it down. Just with those you can push down a bit further. And that's it. We're done. This is the hard part done. Now the easy part after this, it's just a waiting game. Alright everyone, well that is the sauerkraut process all started off. We've got a month of waiting now for this process to fully mature. You can keep an eye on it, take the lid off every now and then, and just check the fluid level in here, make sure it stays above all those leaves and so on, keep everything good. So we top off the lid and then seal off the moat around the jar at the top here. As I said earlier, this will allow, with the fermentation process, the pressure inside will build up and bubble out of the moat, but nothing bad can get in, so it'll help keep bad bacteria out. Any insects and things like that might find their way in won't be able to get through there. So it's just a matter now of whacking in the pantry, down the bottom, in the dark, cool dark part of the pantry, and let it do its job for a month. So that'll be another video. We'll unpack it and bottle it up, see how it turns out. So check in with us then. Thanks for watching and stay safe. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.